This segment is all about selling your business in today's economy. Welcome to the program. I'm Mark Imperial, and this segment's brought to you by booksgrowbusiness.com. It's the place where busy professionals finally get their books done and published to educate consumers, grow their businesses, and to leave a legacy. Joining me on this segment is Carter Chill with The Deal Firm. Carter, welcome to the program.
Thanks, Mark. It's a pleasure to be here.
Carter, tell us a little bit about your work and specifically who are the types of clients that you specialize in helping?
Well, the Deal Firm, we kind of do a soup to nuts approach. We have had clients as small as $100,000 and as large as $10 million. And the prospect of selling a business is a bit of a black box. You might sell two, three, four houses in your lifetime and have a pretty good understanding of how that process works. But selling a business is something that maybe a once in a lifetime opportunity or experience. And so our model is to try and help um, buyers that or sellers that may not be that sophisticated, as well as sellers that have a good deal of understanding of how that process works. We kind of work on both ends.
The businesses that reach out to you and that you meet with, do you find that they put a lot of thought into selling their businesses? How prepared are they or aren't they? What have you found?
80% of the businesses in America, 85% of the business in America make $1 million or less in revenue. So you have a lot of people in business that are very, very good at what they do, but not necessarily as sophisticated as they might be in the process of selling a business or understanding how that process works. So we encounter oftentimes people that are unprepared for the scope of the process with respect to maintaining confidentiality, with respect to understanding how to value a business, which is a big challenge for a lot of small business owners. Understanding how to market a business, how to prepare your business for sale, and oh, by the way, doing all that and still managing to run your business effectively, and protecting your customers and your employees and other stakeholders. So, yeah, there's a lot of hand holding that's done and a lot of education up front.
Since the owners don't necessarily know what they don't know, when they first reach out to you, what is the most common question that you hear? What's the biggest concern they have?
How much can I get? What can I sell my business for? And there's a lot of misconceptions about that. Just prior to us having this conversation, I Googled how to value a business just to see if I was a businessman trying to stick my toe in the waters to see exactly what I should expect in terms of the value of the business. And the answers run from three times sales to a multiple of your EBITDA, which is earnings before interest, taxes, depreciation, and amortization. A calculation based upon future discounting of cash flows. A lot of very sophisticated methods that might be used for valuing stock applied to small businesses. So it's all over the map. At the end of the day, of course, your business is worth what somebody's willing to pay for it. And the first thing that we try and do is we try and recalibrate our clients to what the reality is for their business value.
So it sounds to me that it's kind of dangerous doing Google because there's a lot of mixed information and maybe even misinformation out there. It sounds to me like there's no one size fits all.
There isn't. As a matter of fact, in our own process, our own valuation process, we have three or four different methods that we use. Some are more sophisticated and accounting driven, but others are more focused on the market. For example, testing out what the comparable sales are in the area for that industry is a strong, powerful tool that we use to help kind of narrow down, because it really is, at the end of the day, selling your business is a hard thing to do. 20% of those businesses that I talked about, the $1 million revenues and less, that are listed for sale actually sell. That number changes substantially as you go up in size of business, which is understandable. Smaller businesses carry higher risk than larger businesses, but at the same time, 20% is a pretty small figure. And what we try and do is maximize. And the reason for that typically is because people don't know what their businesses are worth. They've run. I encounter people, Mark, all the time that have been running their businesses for 30 years, and now they're stepping out of the business and they kind of expect this business to be their retirement. the windfall that they had been working all these years. Well, the reality of the situation is that businesses are typically worth the cash flow that they represent at the current time. You don't get to collect the future cash flow. That's for the new owner. You don't get to collect the value of the past cash flows because that's what you earned. So there's a lot of misunderstandings, and we work with people that may not be sophisticated in our process, but they're smart people. They've been entrepreneurs and successful people, and what we try and do is to make sure that they understand that this process is not something you enter into lightly, because you'll be wasting your time if you're not rational about your selling price.
Let's talk about the state of selling and buying a business in today's post pandemic economy versus before the pandemic. Have you noticed any big differences in the market?
Um, Surprisingly, the market has been robust. I had a pandemic year was one of my best years, and from a sales standpoint, and there's a couple of reasons for that. One is that smart money always goes after good businesses, and smart money also knows that there's opportunities in every kind of economic climate. If there is a downturn in the economy or unforeseen variables such as COVID 19, yes, that can have a restraining effect on general economic conditions, but it also represents opportunities. And those opportunities are things like people who have been in business for a while, all of a sudden they run into this pandemic, especially on the retail side, Main Street businesses, they can't get customers in the door. So they're saying, well, it's time to bail. At the same time, you have buyers that are looking for those opportunities because they know that this won't last forever, and that as soon as we pass through that curve, that they'll have an opportunity to buy on the low side and then enjoy the opportunity in the future.
Fascinating insight. Carter, what inspired you to get into this field and help business owners sell their businesses? How did you get started?
I My background was as working as an executive in major corporations, Herman Miller, Masco, people like that, and supply chain positions primarily. I did some consulting work in risk management, also, and then I got into started running my own businesses and owned a couple of businesses. And in the process of either buying or selling these businesses, I really encountered um, an, an inconsistent experience, I guess. You're referring back to my example of selling a home. You have big companies that have branded entities that you kind of have an expectation of service when you get into it. But in my experience, it was certainly inconsistent. So I started inquiring about the possibility of maybe getting into this business and and enjoying the opportunity of bringing some expertise into the marketplace. And ended up partnering with working with David Buboltz, who's the broker in charge of the deal firm. We have a great relationship, and kind of fit a lot of the interests and capabilities that I might bring to the table. A broker has wears several hats, like a lot of professionals do. Um, yes, you have to have the experience and the understanding of financial aspects of a company, how to read a balance sheet, how to read a P&L, understanding how to market that business, and, as well as being a salesman. At the end of the day, I'm representing their business. And so I have to display a level of professionalism that is appropriate to that responsibility. So yeah, and plus being an old guy, it wasn't a barrier for me because, quite frankly, a lot of the clients I work with have been people that have been owning businesses for decades, and they can relate to a guy who knows who Uriah Heep is.
Excellent. Carter, before I ask you my last question,
Mhm.
in regards to selling a business in today's market, is there anything I didn't think to ask you that you feel is important to share with these business owners that are considering selling today?
Well, I think there's nothing that I do that couldn't probably be replicated by somebody who wants to put the hard work in. So one of the questions that comes up every once in a while is that why a broker? Could I sell a business on my own versus having a broker? And the self-serving answer to that is of course the same reason that you would hire a attorney or a CPA to represent your business interests. There, between valuation, um, confidentiality, vetting buyers, marketing, promotion, managing the LOI, managing the purchase agreement, managing the closing. There is a lot of aspect to this business, and the best advice that I can give to somebody who's looking to sell their business and wondering should I use a broker or not is to have a conversation with one. Reach out, call us at the Deal Firm, and if you feel comfortable with that person, then maybe you can begin to understand a little bit about the value that's added by that profession.
Sage advice. And I did see Uriah Heep open up for Kiss back in the day. So that's
No kidding.
interesting
Wow.
fact there. Uh,
Mark,
Carter, for
I'm so,
business owners that are listening now that would love to speak with you, how do
Mhm.
they find you, connect with you, and learn more?
Sure. It's the Deal Firm. You can look up the dealfirm.com and you can find not only our listings there, but also some bios of the brokers that work at the Deal Firm. My business number is 919-299-9880. That's the business number for the Deal Firm. And yeah, you can find us online and inquire. We're more than happy to do consultation. We get paid when the seller gets paid. We don't have upfront free try to get upfront fees. So and that's something to look for. We don't make our living by charging clients fees. We make our living by selling businesses.
This has been terrific. I really appreciate you taking the time to share with my audience today, and I wish you continued success for you and for all of your clients.
Thanks, Mark. I appreciate the opportunity.
That was Carter Chill with The Deal Firm, and this segment's been brought to you by booksgrowbusiness.com. It's the place where busy professionals get their books done, finally, and educate consumers, grow their businesses, and to leave a legacy. That's all for now. I'm Mark Imperial, and thanks for joining me.